Well, good afternoon. Welcome to our panel discussion on Dungeon Defenders, breaking the cross-platform barrier. I'm Sean Flynn. I'm the Director of Marketing for GameSpy Technology, and I'll be playing the role of moderator for today's discussion with our partners and friends from Trendy Entertainment, the independent studio behind the game in the session's title, Dungeon Defenders. Before we get to the questions and the panel discussion, though, we want to show you the reason why we're here to talk to you all today by running a live demo of Dungeon Defenders. Doing 4-platform co-op multiplayer on iOS, Android, PC, and PlayStation 3. We've got 2 volunteers from the audience, Dave and Jamie, who are going to help us out here. And you're watching the PS3 version up on the screen right now. So we'll go ahead and get to the demo here.
Let's see which platform loads the fastest.
One thing we'll say too, I think in addition to doing kind of a traditional Q&A at the end of the session, we want to reserve 15 or 20 minutes at the end if people want to come up and get hands-on with the game on any of the platforms and actually see the matchmaking and the multiplayer in action and play this awesome game. You'll be able to come up and do that. So if that didn't quite get the message across, Dungeon Defenders is, in all of the ways that count, for us, a truly pioneering game. It was one of the first games to take Epic's Unreal Engine onto mobile platforms, both iOS and Android specifically, and it broke ground by delivering AAA quality gameplay to the mobile audience natively and not as a port. We should note to you that just yesterday Trendy announced the release date for the game on the Xbox, with release on PS3 and PC coming right around the same time, correct? And it was October 19th? October 19th. So that's all great, but given that we at GameSpy Tech work primarily with online services, what really gets us excited is when games do incredible stuff, features like online multiplayer. We're all big believers that playing games together, or at least sharing game experiences, make playing games way, way more fun than just playing in isolation. And when we kicked off our GameSpy Open initiative earlier this year, which made all of our online game dev tools available for free to indie game developers, our biggest hope for the program was that developers in the indie space would do really ambitious, nutty, innovative things with our tech. Because indies really are the people in the industry who are taking chances and thinking new thoughts these days. They're not churning out sequel after sequel. They're not really concerned with just safely replicating proven but stale genre conventions. They have the freedom and, more importantly, the desire to think crazy thoughts. And great games are coming from those crazy thoughts, and those games are changing the industry. Dungeon Defenders to us is the apotheosis of all of those ideas, a game that dared to think crazy big about the maximum fun to be had when people play together, and a game that achieved major success as a result of that. So in a time when independent developers are just now kind of catching on to the benefits of putting their games out on multiple platforms rather than just, say, banking on the success of the PC or iOS individually, Trendy surged ahead of the pack, using our services, as you saw during the demo, to link the player bases on 4 of its chosen platforms, to recap iOS, Android, PC, and PS3, through cross-platform co-op. Now, cross-platform play has been around for nearly a decade. We helped games connect on the Dreamcast to the PC, if that gives you any indication of how long this has been technically feasible. But despite that, few games have attempted it. Fewer still have done so successfully, and none have attempted the breadth of what Trendy has achieved as the first studio to truly capitalize on the ubiquitous connectivity of all gaming and mobile devices now. Moreover, they're the first to pursue a vision of multiplayer gameplay that unites its community across all platform barriers. Anyhow, enough preamble from me on that. To answer questions about how they achieved this feat, why they pursued it in the first place, and to give a preview of what's next for their game, please join me in welcoming from Trendy Entertainment Jeremy Siglitz, lead programmer, and Philip Asher, director of marketing. We got kind of a quick overview, feedback there. So we got kind of a quick overview of Dungeon Defenders while you guys were playing it. Can you just describe the game, though, really quickly, and give us, more importantly, a quick overview of what Trendy looked like at the time you guys did the initial work on the game? Like, how big was the studio? How much experience did you have under your belts? That kind of thing.
Sure. So Dungeon Defenders is a 4-player cooperative tower defense action role-playing game. You can play it locally or online. If you're playing on PC or PS3, you can do 4-player split screen. You can do a combination of split screen and online play. And the essence of the game is building up your character's RPG statistics, getting new items and loot and weapons and upgrading those, while also coming up with the best strategies to defend your crystal against waves of various kinds of enemies on different arenas. And as you progress the game, you get stronger, you get more abilities, you unlock new abilities, and you improve them, but you also get new defenses to build. And there's kind of a rock, paper, scissors balance between the different enemy types you face and the defenses you have. Also, there's 4 classes, and they all have kind of a different focus how the defenses work. So when you play it online, especially, you can really get this amazing teamwork where everybody's kind of role-playing with their ideal defensive interplay. Maybe the squire, whose defenses are physical, builds them behind these auras the monk creates, so the enemies get debuffed and weakened before they even hit the physical barricade. So when you play online or in local multiplayer, you can really get that teamwork going. And in terms of Trendy size, we've grown a little bit since we began this game, but the bulk of the game was created in about 10 months, and the team is about 6 or 7 people, 2 engineers and about 4 artists and a producer, basically. It was a pretty intensive development time. We came up with the mobile version pretty much immediately after that 10-month period was over. And then we kind of sat around waiting for the console versions to come out. We're still sitting. But we do have a date now, October 19th. It takes a lot of work to get through certification processes and publishers and all that to get a game out on consoles. But the mobile version launched in December 14th of 2010, and on iOS and Android, and has well over 1 million downloads between those 2 platforms now, and a very active user base that has completely documented and explored the game and is looking forward to taking their mobile progress and their mobile characters into the PC and console versions through cross-platform play. And the console versions have a little bit more breadth and depth than the mobile version, which is why we subtitled the mobile version First Wave. But hitting mobile and consoles was definitely a gamble for Trendy, and I think it's paid off.
Cool. So, I mean, a lot of independent games and a lot of mobile games are, with the exception of having, say, leaderboards or something like that, or friend list, kind of devoid of online features. So what motivated you guys to go multiplayer in the first place? And then what made you decide to up the ante and go cross-platform with the multiplayer?
Well, I guess multi. Is this on?
Could be this one.
This one's on. Okay. Well, multiplayer games are fun, and I think everyone remembers when they're a kid playing Tony Hawk on their N64 together, or split screen play was big. So that was really important to us as a developer, and we wanted to carry that into our RPG experience, and then make it even broader. So now, what does multiplayer mean? It definitely doesn't just mean sitting on the couch with each other, as Xbox Live and PlayStation Network and Steam has showed us. But it also no longer means simply being stuck on one platform. I mean, if you can play the same game on the bus that you can play on your computer at home, that you can play on the Xbox at your friend's house, or in this case PS3, because Xbox doesn't have cross-platform play.
Not because it can be done, but because they won't allow it right now.
Yeah. But that said, I mean, it's a huge thing, and we thought it was really important. And we're also coming up on a time when mobile devices are as powerful as consoles, so we can truly have a great experience across all platforms.
Got it. So, you mentioned the benefits to the players in terms of amplifying the fun and making things more. What's the advantage of, say, pursuing that strategy, though, to you guys? Like, what did the studio get out of doing something like that?
One of the key things was that having the game be cross-platform reduced Trendy's risk tremendously. It meant that no one platform for us was like the make or break platform. We could leverage whatever platform is doing well to increase the size of the community. So we didn't ghettoize the player base. You have the iOS players trading items with the Android players, who very soon are going to be meeting the PC and PS3 players. And they may be, some people may only play on one platform, and other people are going to take their content and their data across multiple platforms. But it allowed us to kind of have the platforms support each other, and I think it's created a good feedback cycle so that the community is really the sum of all the platforms rather than separate mini communities for each platform.
Yeah, And furthermore, as an indie developer, what's interesting is on iOS and Android, we're a AAA game. But on console, we're an indie game, by and far. We're the Steam indie game. But I think it really carries over. So we have all these mobile players where, it's Infinity Blade is an Unreal Engine game, Dungeon Defenders is an Unreal Engine game. We're a AAA title on that platform. And that kind of feel, carries over to all of our games.
As yet, I think we're still the only Unreal Engine game on Android, so.
Yeah.
And there's some benefit too, I imagine, like when the PC players come online, it's not like they have to recreate the wheel in terms of forming a community. Like they're going to see an existing player base right from the iOS and Android that they can join. So like the first guy on the PC who wants to play co-op doesn't have to wait, sit down and count his fingers or.
Theoretically, he's got 1 million players waiting to join him online.